All right, folks, let's figure out what your Salesforce destiny is. I always believe that certain personality traits lend themselves to certain career paths. For example, as a huge introvert, I don't think I could ever be successful in sales. However, I love sitting on my butt and staring at a computer screen all day, so I make a decent programmer. But it's not always quite that black and white. And if you're newer to the Salesforce industry, or if you're just lost in your career and you don't know what you want to be doing in 5 or 10 years, you may need some guidance on which career path is best for you. And so as somebody who has worked every possible role in the Salesforce world, from rock bottom, dirty work to leading Salesforce implementations for multi-billion-dollar orgs with tens of thousands of users at the best companies in the world, alongside the best of the best in the industry, I've got a decent idea of what it takes to be successful in every role. And so I made a fun little personality test to help you figure out what role fits your personality and strengths the most. But first, a word from our sponsor. In the next 2 years, an estimated 3.3 million Salesforce-related jobs are expected to open, which seems like great news, but how can you sort through all these jobs? Administrators, architects, analysts, developers, consultants, and find the one that's right for you. And how do you package yourself so that you maximize your chances of getting that job? Martin Gessner, author of the Salesforce Career Playbook, is a 10-year veteran of working in Salesforce roles, has 12 certifications, and has spent the last 16 months interviewing people from all over the world to pull together the definitive guide on starting and growing a Salesforce career. His book is now available on Amazon, and it streamlines the journey from where you are to where you want to be. It's packed with tips, strategies, and case studies from people who are in the trenches of a Salesforce career. The Salesforce Career Playbook covers everything from the different career paths to exactly what you need to do to find a job along that path, to passing certifications, engaging in the community, and moving up the ladder. Check it out on Amazon today. All right, back to the Salesforce personality quiz I made. Here's how it's going to work. I'm going to ask you 23 questions. For each of these questions, there are going to be 3 possible choices. I'll give you about 10 seconds for each question. Don't think too hard about each one. Choose whatever choice matches your perfect dream state in your heart, not your current job. Now, each option is going to have a shape associated with it. If you use triangle, give yourself a point in the triangle category. If you choose diamond, give yourself a point in the diamond category. You probably need a pencil and paper, or even better, a notepad on your computer to keep track. Feel free to pause now and get that ready because we're going to start. All right, ready? Let's go. First question. You're sitting in the perfect meeting. Who's in the meeting with you? Remember, choose the answer that is what you want in your career, not what is your current job role. Next question. You want to be a master of which of the following? Don't think too hard about it. Choose whatever you feel is right in your heart. Let's keep going. How do you feel about rules? Okay. Now, which of these challenges are you most interested in? Next question. What's the first thing you think about when I say consultant? What is your opinion towards consultants? Again, don't think too hard about these. Try to pick the first answer that comes to mind, and we're going to keep going. How good are you at Googling things? And if you don't know what negative and exact search strings are, don't pretend like you know it. Let's keep going. What is your ideal role in a project? We've got 23 questions, so we're going to keep on going. What do you think about when designing a solution? Okay. Which of these characters do you want to be in The Matrix? And if you haven't seen The Matrix yet, shame on you. Maybe my favorite movie. All right, you're stuck on a problem at work for hours. What do you do? Moving on. Part of a project failed because of a bad requirement. How do you feel? By the way, I designed this quiz based on my personal experiences. This one is one I've experienced quite a lot. Let's keep going. How much control do you need? We're about halfway through. Let's keep going. Which of these solutions brings you the most joy? Okay. Which of these would you rather work with? Next question. What kind of team would you prefer to be on? Let's keep going. Question number 16. What is your preferred method of communication? This is my very scientific quiz that I made up. And we're moving on to question 17. You prefer spending 40 hours a week doing what? All right, we're almost there. Let's keep going. Did you read the documentation? Just a few more questions left. I made 23, which is a pretty high number because I wanted this to be somewhat accurate. Let's keep going. There are multiple solutions. Which solution do you choose? Okay. What is your opinion on multitasking? Next question. If you were in a rock band, who would you be? What do you want to be in 5 years? And now the final question. What is your personal motto? All right, that's it for the personality test. Let's see your results. So triangle represents a Salesforce Administrator position, circle is Salesforce Developer, and diamond is Technical Architect. If you index really strongly towards one of them, then great. But it's possible your results were balanced between multiple categories, in which case I'm going to go a level deeper and recommend some subpaths for you. And don't worry, I'm going to explain what each of these paths are so you know exactly what you're getting yourself into. Let's start with the 3 main career paths before diving into their subpaths. So we'll start with the Salesforce Administrator. A Salesforce Administrator is essentially the frontline job position on any Salesforce team. When your users or stakeholders have questions or requests, the first person they'll likely talk to is the admin. It's a people-oriented position because it's the least technical position of them all. And while an admin still needs some Salesforce technical skills, such as building validation rules, process builders, reports, data uploads, and so on, they primarily contribute in non-technical ways because that's where their strengths lie. This typically means that Salesforce admins will take on non-technical responsibilities such as gathering requirements, training end users, and general project management. The next main career path is the Salesforce Developer. This is the most hands-on and technical role on the team. Developers are spending most of their time building things in Salesforce. Typically, this means writing code to automate processes, integrate with other systems, and to build fancy UIs. But it also means using the vast landscape of Salesforce point-and-click tools. Developers typically have to understand non-coding solutions just as well, if not more, than admins do, because even hardcore developers will spend a quarter of their time, if not more, on point-and-click solutions. While developers have significantly more responsibilities on the technical side of things, they have significantly less responsibilities on the people side of things compared with admins. If you look at the calendars of a typical Salesforce developer, you'll see lots of open time and very few meetings because developers need to focus on building things. Compared with other industries though, developers in the Salesforce world still get very involved in business decisions, and it's not uncommon to see developers work directly with end users and stakeholders as well. The final main career path is the technical architect. This is generally the most prestigious and complex role in the Salesforce industry. The technical architect, at the end of the day, is the final decision maker for all Salesforce decisions, and thus they are the person responsible for the success or failure of an implementation. Technical architects are typically only found in larger Salesforce projects where there are multiple teams of Salesforce admins and developers who need a leader to orchestrate and scale the org. While this is a very lucrative and powerful position, being the lead of a Salesforce implementation is not easy. You basically need top-level skills in every possible category. On the technical side, you need to be just as skilled as your best developers because you're making key technical decisions on their behalf. On the people side, you've got to be able to lead and influence not just your Salesforce team, but all other teams you partner with and especially their leaders as well. And the most challenging thing about all this is you do this without managing anyone directly and without doing any hands-on work in your Salesforce org. Those responsibilities belong to other people in the organization. Given the importance and difficulty of this role, technical architects are typically the most experienced in the industry and in their careers. Now, let's talk about the career subpaths in the industry. Salesforce is such a big world that there are many different combinations of jobs across the three main career paths. And so if your results were mixed across career paths, these are the subpaths you want to pursue. Let's start with a combination of admin and developer. I call this the solo hybrid path, which is not the job title you're going to be searching for, so let me explain what it is. You've got a good mix of people skills and technical skills, so you're a hybrid that can go in either direction depending on what your current project is calling for. But since you aren't as interested in the architect path, which involves larger Salesforce implementations and scale, you prefer smaller implementations where you have both a high level of control over decisions while also building much of the functionality yourself. You'll thrive in companies where you're one of the few Salesforce-focused employees, if not the only one, hence the word solo. This role is very popular in the industry right now. And when you're searching for Salesforce jobs, you basically want to look for Salesforce Administrator or Developer job titles at smaller companies, noting that a significant portion of Salesforce Administrator jobs ask for technical coding skills. Now let's look at the cross between admins and technical architects, which typically carries a solutions architect job title. You're somebody with great people skills and the leadership potential to work on larger Salesforce teams. You might have minimal, if not zero, coding abilities, and that's okay. Larger Salesforce implementations need a variety of roles to succeed. And while you won't be the final technical decision maker like a technical architect would be, you certainly would be one of the final business process decision makers on the team because your people skills give you great business sense. This is generally a more senior level role that's not a very hands-on role, but certainly a valuable one in larger implementations. When searching for jobs, look for solution architect job titles. Moving on to the next subpath, we have a mix of developer and architect, and I'm calling it the tech lead. You've got deep technical skills needed to be a developer, and you've got the leadership potential found in technical architects. But unlike technical architects, you still prefer to be hands-on and actively writing code. You'll leave most of the people and business responsibilities to others. A tech lead is typically the most senior developer on the Salesforce team, and aside from writing the most important code in your org, you'll also be guiding and mentoring other developers. This could mean managing a Salesforce team, but not necessarily. Both are possible under this role. Typical job titles you want to look for include Senior Developer and Engineering Manager. Finally, if you're equally balanced across the three main career paths, you are a hybrid role. Take every role I mentioned above and put it all together. That's you. Hope you liked this video. What career path did you get, and was it the one you wanted or expected? Let me know in the comments below. And of course, if you enjoy the content, please consider liking or subscribing so the YouTube gods shine down favorably on me. If it seems like there's a lot of interest in these kinds of topics, I might do full videos on each of the job paths to give you a really deep look into exactly what they are, how much they get paid, what their typical day looks like, and what their long-term job prospects are. Take it from me, I've worked pretty much every possible role in this industry, and I've worked with many of the best as well. Thank you very much, and I'll see you next time.